Hi, sorry about the dodgy picture on the title of this video. I was trying to take a picture but it just weren't happening, so I just gave up and went with whatever was up. I know I look like crap, I don't really care. I'm ill, that's a good excuse to look like crap, isn't it? But today, ooh, what's that? Ooh, I got a vegan, well, a veggie Percy pig. Are they called Percy pigs? I didn't realise I had that in my pocket. Have I got any more? Yes, I have. Got two more, but I'm going to save one. Today was potentially my last day of work, because I quit. I did a video about it yesterday when I decided I was going to quit, and it's not going to look for a few weeks, and then I did a live video last night and I said I'll probably mention it before it goes up. And I didn't even really go into all of the reasons in the video, it was just like a vlog type video. But I did it. I only decided yesterday. For months and months and months my doctor's been telling me to quit. Find a new job and quit. And I like the money. It stops, like, it helps me pay my bills, but it also, like, I have money left over for myself for a change. And that's one of the reasons why I kept the job, even though there's a lot of bullying going on and lots of things that shouldn't be going on there, and it's me that gets the brunt of it. It's me who gets the bad treatment, even though I'm highly skilled at what I do. There's a lot of bullying and things going on that shouldn't be going on, and I've been putting up with it for a very long time. And a lot of it was to do with, you know, the money helps me out. I do have an income without it, but it doesn't quite pay my bills. And then even if it did pay my bills, I don't have any money. I never have any money for myself, ever. So basically it just got worse and worse and worse. I had to leave hospital at Christmas because they wanted me back in, but the hospital wanted to keep me in. But I said, look, I'm going home on Thursday, I've got to work Friday. And they're like, well, your health should be more important. I said, well, I can't because I have to go to work. And they didn't appreciate the fact that I'd got myself out of hospital just so I could go to work and get treated like crap. So it kind of, like, everything got worse, and it was affecting my mood, it was affecting the way I was acting, it was affecting the way I was feeling. And my doctor kept saying to me, look, I really need you to leave that job. It's really affecting you, it's changing you as a person. I know without you telling me that there's something up because of how you're being and what you're saying to me, and like, what, you know, you get into how you were last year and stuff. And I said, I don't want to feel that way, but you know, I don't want to just walk out of a job because the money helps me out. I also have a routine, and I'm around people, and, you know, I need to be around people. I need to have a routine, and I need money coming in because it helps me with my depression and my anxiety and how I feel and stuff. So being around people helps me, and having a routine helps. So my doctor told me, you know, find a job, but you need to, like, you know, and I had interviews lined up and all sorts of stuff, and I just didn't go to them. And there were reasons why. I mean, with a couple of them I decided, one, the distance weren't worth it because I'd be earning another 13p an hour than I do now, but it was a 40-mile round trip every day, and it would mean leaving at 8 in the morning rather than 20 to 9, and it wouldn't be worth my time. Like, I would need another £2, £2.50 an hour to just compensate me for my time, the extra time, but also the cost of the journey. So between me and my doctor, we decided I weren't going to go for that. And there was another job interview that I was meant to go for, I think it was like the 30th of November. I got shortlisted to 8 and there was 3 jobs, and I was still going to go to the interview even though I decided I wouldn't take the job because I realised the job wasn't for me. There were certain aspects of the job I felt I couldn't do. But the fact that I got the interview based on what I'd put in the application, because it was an online application, I discovered the application at like 9:30 at night. The closing time was 9 o'clock the next day. I was going to go to bed. I spent 20 minutes on it, rushed through it. So I was shocked when I got an email and a matching letter inviting me to the job interview, and there was 8 possible candidates and there were 3 jobs. So I was like, oh my god, how the hell did I even get through to that part? And I was going to go to the interview as experience, but then it was kind of like you go to the place where it is. I would have to have set up at 8:30, which was not a problem, and then you get taken on a tour of the building, and then there's like an hour-long test, and then it would have ate into too much of my time. And at that time, that day, I had to go to my other job. I weren't working that day, but the day before, they basically put me in an impossible situation, and they wanted me to go in that day and give them a yes or no answer. And I went in and gave them a yes answer, which I was bullied into. And I'm not going to go into that until I tell the whole story about why I don't work there anymore, which I'm not going to do at the moment. So those 2 job interviews I didn't go to, and then there was another one, and it was like I just got these job interviews and I just didn't go. But there were reasons why. There were legitimate reasons at work, like I don't want to work, I'm going to be lazy. But I was going to go to them just for the experience. But like I said, the one where the distance was too far, I was going to go for the experience, but it clashed with another appointment time. I wouldn't have got back for an appointment, so that was more important than me having like an interview. So my doctor's like, you need to like find a job and change and like get out of there because of what it's doing to you. She's watching it destroy me and take me back to months and months ago, and she knows me very well and she knows the signs. I don't need to go in and say something's wrong. She knows without me saying it. And I saw her not the Monday, just gone the Monday before, and she's like, I need you to leave that job. I really, really need you to seriously think about it, and I need you to do that because of what it's doing to you. And I was like, I need another job. I can't just walk out on a job because the money helps me out, and I know I need the routine and everything. I said I could easily find a routine. I could easily volunteer and stuff and find something to fill that time for the time being, but it's just the money situation. She's like, I really, really need you to leave your job. And I listened to my doctor, and I know she's right. And when she first started saying it in September when I was off ill, like I weren't going to go back, and then I did videos saying someone pushed me into it, and it was my dad. So I went back because even though my dad knows how they're making me feel, he just thinks I should go. So at that point too as well, I didn't want to let people down, and I know they rely on me to do certain things, and I just felt like I couldn't let them down. And I said that to my doctor. She's like, well, you shouldn't think of it that way because they're also not thinking about you the way they're treating you, and they're happy to treat you. That sweet stuck to my tooth now. And I said, but I don't want to let them down. They're not going to get anyone to do what I'm doing for the price I'm doing it. And she said, you shouldn't really think about that. I said, even if I could get another job to replace the job, I would still feel guilty and like I'm letting them down. She said, well, don't think that way. And that was then, when things were kind of okay leading up to Christmas, and then they used me for things, and then I was in hospital and I had to get out, and it weren't, nice. And then there was an incident at work on Tuesday where my manager just went absolutely mental at me because I didn't go to work on Monday because I was too ill to go to work, basically. And she come in the office and I was sat there, and I'm not going to tell the whole story in this video, but she just went crazy at me, and because I had an answer to everything, she just got more and more annoyed at me. But I'm not going to sit there and let her go crazy at me and accuse me of things and say this, that and the other, and not say, well, this happened or this happened, and she just didn't like it. And then there was some other bullshit on Tuesday as well from her. And then I went in Wednesday, and there was just this atmosphere there. There was just like this really horrible atmosphere. It was like walking into like death row or something. Like the atmosphere was just horrific. I walked in just feeling, I weren't feeling down or anything. I just walked in. I thought, going to work, get my work done, leave. You know, I weren't down, I weren't moody. I was fine, and I walked in, and there was just this instant, like this atmosphere, and it didn't lift, and it was horrible. And there's someone who works there who thinks she's like in charge of everything, and she was being off with me, and like I was just like, I can't cope with this. Like, I've done nothing wrong. I come to work and there's just this atmosphere and stuff that isn't right going on here. And I left yesterday, and from the front door to just before I get to the car park, in that time that it took me to walk that, maybe 10 seconds, I was like, I'm resigning tomorrow. I can't do this anymore. And I'd not even thought about it. Even when she was screaming and shouting at me the day before, it didn't even cross my mind. But after being in there in that atmosphere and it making me feel like crap, I was just like, I can't do this anymore. It is making me so down. I dread going to work, like, and it's not because I'm working. I just dread being in there with those people. And you know, like, they bully other people. Like, if people say, oh, I can't do this shift or that shift, they're like, well, you have to do it. And I'm like, well, I'm at my auntie's in wherever, we have to come home and do it. And if you don't do it, I won't give you work tomorrow. And that's what's going on there. And it's really negative all the time. And, you know, it didn't take me long to decide, because it's been building up, and I keep saying to people, like, I don't want to go to work, I'm dreading going to work, and I'll put off going to bed, and then when I get into bed, I put off going to sleep, because I know when my alarm goes off in the morning, I've got to get up and go there, and it's just so disheartening, and so this horrible feeling at the thought of having to walk in there every day and not knowing who's going to say what. And even if there's nothing aimed at me, it's just negative about other people. Like, they're constantly slacking people off and putting people down, and it's just this constant negative energy in there, that even if they weren't saying and doing things to me, you know, that alone, what they're saying about other people and making other people do, is just the energy. It's just horrible. So I shocked myself at how quickly that decision was made. I mean, it's been building up for months and months and months, but I think the tip of the iceberg was her going crazy at me, and then the next day, this absolute atmosphere and comments being made and things. It was just, you know, it was just like, I walked out, and, you know, because I'm ill, I don't need the stress, because when I get stressed, it makes the illness worse. So it was just like, shut the front door. I walked, I don't know how far the distance is, it's not a quick walk, like 10-15 seconds. I didn't even got to the gate that leads onto the car park, and I was like, I'm resigning. And I knew I weren't going to back down. I knew once that decision had clicked in my head at that point, I knew it would happen 100%. I wouldn't back down on it. And then I went and told my dad, and he actually wrote my resignation letter and brought it home for me. It just says that I'm handing in my note, like, whatever, and I'm giving a week's notice, and I'm going to work, blah blah blah. And I know she won't let me work it. So today I went to work as normal, took my work coat and hung my work coat up, and my coat, no one said anything, like, why have you just walked in with your work coat not on and just hung it up. And I got on with my work, and I had so much work to do. It was like a crazy amount of work. It was like enough work for 8 hours. Yet the other two are meant to work 8 hours. They work 8 to 10 hours, and they do about 2 hours work. But there you go, that's what's going on there. So I'm doing all this work, and then people were coming in to see me, so I was spending like half an hour with each one, and I'm trying to get all this work done, knowing that when I left that day, it was potentially the last time I would be in that building. So I wanted to make sure everything was like done, dusted, like how it should be. I even got ahead on some stuff, and I did stuff that didn't even really need doing. And then someone rung up and said, like, the wages had been done wrong, and I said, well, I don't deal with the hours or whatever. So I took it into the ones that do, and it took them about half an hour to realise that they'd underpaid her for over 30 hours of work. So then I had to recalculate the wages for them, And then when the manager came in and found out what had happened, the one who's related to the manager tried to make out that I'd made the mistake. And I was like, I haven't made the mistake. I don't do anything to do with the rotas or how many hours they are. So I couldn't have done that. And she was basically trying to push the blame from herself to me. And my manager went, well, you do all of that side of the wages. I said, no, but it weren't just my side of the wages. It was the other side as well that were wrong. I said there were 6 of mine and 5 of the other that was wrong. But the other 2 office girls were trying to make out I'd made the mistake. And I said, no, if you look at the timesheets, I've just put the hours through that I were given. And I said, I'm not taking the blame for someone else's mistake. Then I got my bag and my coat because it was leaving time, and I went to my manager and I had my envelope and I said, can I give you this? And she went, yeah, and took it off me. And I was waiting for her to say to me, what is this letter? What is it? Because I was going to say, it's my week's notice. And she never asked me, and I stood there for about 10 seconds and I thought, I'm not going to, stand there for ages because I've got another job to go to because I worked 2 places on a Thursday. And I needed to go to the shop, and I thought, well, I don't have time for this, So I said, I hope you have a good weekend. And she went, are you not in tomorrow? I went, no, I'm not in tomorrow. And I said, have a good weekend to the other 2. And I got out and I walked past the window. And after I walked past the window, I literally ran to the car park because I thought it's going to be about 30 seconds from now. She's going to open that envelope. It's 2 lines long. She's going to come out of that office. And she actually walks really fast. She walks faster than I can run. So I ran, got in my car and drove off, and then got to the shop and I rang my dad. And I was on the phone to my dad for 2 minutes, and then all of a sudden he went, she's trying to get through to me. And I'm like, why is she trying to get through to you? I work for her. She's my manager. Why is she ringing you? She always says to me, we don't let the parents get involved. It's whoever works for us. And I'm like, he went, well, I don't know why she's ringing me. I said, well, surely if she's got something to say, she should be ringing me. So he didn't answer, and we carried on talking. And then she started ringing him again. I said, do you know what? I'm going to see you very soon, so I'll go. You speak to her. So when I saw him, he said she'd rung up and she said, did you know she was going to resign today? And he said, I only knew about it yesterday, which is true. Because literally I decided, went to the shop and then went to the office and I saw him and I said, I'm resigning. He wrote my resignation letter. He said she didn't say much else. He just said, look, if you've got something to say, you need to speak to Melanie because she's the one that's resigned. And that was the end of the conversation. And I said, I know what's going on there now because I know every time someone resigns, they suddenly find issue with them and tell them they don't need to work the notice because they've made so many mistakes they don't want them there. So I said, I'm going to get a recorded letter off her tomorrow saying that don't bother to work your week's notice because, we're not happy with you. Even though they told me 2 days ago they are happy with my work, but they will just make up stuff to make me look bad. And I said there would have been a time when that would obviously bother me, like if someone's saying, negative things about me. But the ironic thing is, it was actually a police officer who told me not to be too bothered about what people think of me because I said, if people see me stood talking to you or sat talking to you, they're going to automatically think I've been arrested. And he said, well, why do you care what other people think? I said, because obviously I don't want people to think I've been arrested. He said, well, you haven't been arrested. Why are you bothered if you're seen with a police officer? I said, because, if I saw someone with a police officer, I would obviously think certain things. And he went, well, you shouldn't think certain things. Just because someone sat with a police officer or talking to a police officer, it doesn't mean they've done anything wrong. And I said, I know that. He said, well, you shouldn't be worried about what all these people are thinking who you are concerned about. And because of them, because of that police officer and what he actually said to me, I don't always worry about what people think. I mean, sometimes I do and sometimes I don't. But now that I've resigned and stuff, I don't care if they're sat there all afternoon saying I'm this, that and the other, because I've seen them do it with so many other people. Like even someone resigned this week and all he heard was them bad-mouthing him, even though he was one of the best workers and he was very popular. So they just do it to everyone. So I was just saying to my dad, I know what they're going to do. They're going to make up these lies about me just to make me look bad. but really they've shot themselves in the foot. And you know, my dad said she sounded shocked, and he said, I can't understand why they think they can treat you the way they've been treating you and you not walk out. He said most people would have walked out months ago, but he said you, being you, don't want to let people down and you're too nice. I said, I know. And I said, I knew eventually it would get to the point where I'd walk, but I did hope I would have a job by then. And he said, well, you know, I know for you to just walk, it must be bad and they must have pushed you to the limit. And I said, honestly, if I stayed there, I would start acting out, not intentionally, but I would start acting out, not at work, but in my life away from there, and I would start putting myself in situations that I can't handle because I'm not thinking straight. And I said, I can't let myself do that. I said, I know I'm at that point where if they make me feel any worse, I'm going to start doing that. And I said, I don't want to be in that position anymore. And he said, at least you've realised. I said, yeah, and it does help that my doctor has spoken to me a lot about it and how, you know, I'm changing. And I said, you know, they're making me feel so down, but I feel down anyway, so I don't need them adding to it, especially with how unwell I feel. I said, like, I don't need this added pressure. Like, work shouldn't be this difficult and hard, and I shouldn't be around negative people. And he said, well, I was shocked when you told me because I know you can put up with a lot, but he said, I can see it. He said, like, all you say to me is, I don't want to go to work tomorrow. And, like, you know, you tell me you're staying up on purpose because you know when you go to sleep, you know, you've got to, when your alarm goes off, where you going? He said, I can see what it's doing to you as well. He said, you know, I would have liked you to stay and, you know, until you got another job so you've got that money coming in, but, you know, I think for you to give up, he said, I know that it's at the limit. So I have recognised in myself that if I did carry on there for even another couple of weeks or even another week, I would start getting into the state I was getting into last year, and I'm literally almost at that state. So I thought, I can't, and I just can't cope with the tension anymore and the negativeness. So I've gone. I did say I'd work my 4 days mornings next week, but as I just said a few minutes ago, I know they're going to make some lies up about me and, you know, let have me in, but I'm fine with that. It just means I can have lie-ins because I'm so exhausted. Even if I do get sleep, I'm exhausted because of how unwell I am. So I just don't want to get out of a routine, and I don't want to stop myself from being around people. So I'm going to have to try and do something, I guess, and it would help if I could do something that involves getting an income. But yeah, I'll see what I can do, and that's that really. And yeah, don't feel great. I need to take some medication, and I need to schedule tonight's vlog because I managed to upload it overnight. It's ready, just needs to description box fill it in, so you're going to get another video at 6 o'clock, which is my bi-weekly vlog. I think from the title of it, it's just me rambling on, and it's 20 odd minutes long, so I think it's like 20 minutes and some seconds. So the first thing I'm going to do when I finish this video in a couple of minutes is schedule that, so you will get another video in less than an hour. And then I'm going to start uploading all the clips that I've got on my phone that I've been filming because my broadband's back on. Still slow as ever, but it's back on. And I don't think I have anything else to say. This is the longest I've talked in days. I'm going to have a drink and a cold drink, and I don't know. I want to get changed. I'm absolutely cold. Yesterday when I was freezing, I went and got in bed and I couldn't get warm. And then I fell asleep, and I was asleep on and off all night. Well, for 3 hours, and then I was exhausted all night. I'm still exhausted. And I know it's because of my illness, but there's nothing I can really do about that at the moment. I hope everyone's okay, and if you've not subscribed to my channel, please subscribe because I really could do with getting to 1,000 subscribers. And I know that's going to be a mammoth task, but if you want to support me on this channel and you want me to keep posting these videos, then please feel free to subscribe, and I'll try and get something up every day, even if it's a live video or a bi-weekly vlog or just random vlog clips. I will try my hardest to get one up every single day if you subscribe.